I hate when the Red Sox go out west late in the summer. It just is never good. I don't have any stats to back this up, but anybody who watches them in the past knows. Like, freaky shit happens on the West Coast late night, these weird games. And it happened on Saturday, and the Red Sox lose the series. It was a chance for the Red Sox to gain some ground, really, prove to some people that they can beat some good teams on the road when they went out to San Diego, and they handled the Padres in game one. Nick Pivetta had like a sub-2 ERA at home this year. They lit him up. He made him look like Red Sox, Nick Pivetta. And then they lose the next two and lose the series. And there were some struggles at the plate. There was at one point 21 strikeouts in 15 innings. Some struggles with the bullpen. But really, this series loss is on Alex Cora. Alex Cora lost them that game on Saturday 100%. And that's tough to say to most people when you look at Lucas Giolito's line in that game. But he was left out there to die for some reason that was totally beyond me. The Red Sox are up 3-1 in this game, early in the game. They manufacture some runs. They get one, I think, on a wild pitch. They get one on a balk, and they're up 3-1. And then the fourth inning happens, okay? On a day where the Yankees won and Toronto lost, the Red Sox completely pissed away a chance. Giolito leaves the game in the fourth inning after 4 straight walks. How many walks in a row do you need to see before you pull the dying duck? For Alex Cora, this great manager, it was 4. Oh, yeah, the last 2 came with the bases loaded. And you went from 3-2 up to being 4-3 down without a ball even being put in play. And this comes off a night before where the Red Sox used 1 high leverage guy for 2 outs. They had their leverage guys ready in the bullpen. And Alex Cora says, let's wait. Let's see if he figures this out. He wasn't very good going into the fourth inning, and then he completely implodes, and Alex Cora is just watching it. After the third walk, he gets on the phone. And 2 weeks ago, the excuse would have been, well, Cam, you don't have a long guy. You don't have a long relief guy. Except now you do. You went and traded for one at the trade deadline. And that was the guy they brought in. Steven Matz could have been up with, 1 batter into the fourth inning, 2 batters after one of the walks, after the walk in the wild pitch. But no, they wait till 3 walks in, including a run being walked in, and then they get Steven Matz warming. And then it's 4 in a row, and you're losing. And with San Diego having the best bullpen in all of baseball, the game's essentially over. Essentially. But the Red Sox are that good. Roman Anthony is that good. Ground rule double, ties the game in the 9th inning. And then, the most frightening 9 words in the English language. Boston Red Sox will now play extra innings. Shout out friend of the program, Liam Fennessy, for tweeting that out. The 9 scariest words that you can hear. The Boston Red Sox will now play extra innings. Because I'm hoping by year 9 of his managerial career, Alex Cora will finally figure out how to work extra innings. You'd think year 8, maybe that's a little bit too ambitious. Year 9, next year, is when he'll hopefully figure it out. Because they still don't get it. And it's this whole bullshit, gotta grab 2 kind of mentality. But you've got your ghost runner at second base, and you've got David Hamilton at the plate, batting in either the 4 or the 5 spot. I can't remember which one he was batting in. But if he's batting anywhere higher than 8th, that's a mistake. But he came in as a runner, didn't do his job there, and then comes in as a pinch hitter. And the bunt sign is on. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with small ball, especially when you've got a guy like Whitlock, who had pitched the night before, but very little. He could have came in and closed out that game. Okay, fine. You get 1 run, at least. Like, I don't know why every team isn't starting with a bunt with the ghost runner at second base and with a guy like David Hamilton at the plate. But what's so bad is with 2 strikes on him, they keep the bunt sign on because he's that bad a hitter that you have no confidence in him doing anything else but trying to get down this bunt. And David Hamilton proves exactly why he was sent in there to bunt in the first place. Because he can't do anything. Can't do anything right. He bunts it foul, and he's out. Brother, Little League coaches don't keep the bunt sign on with 2 strikes. Alex Cora does because he's big brain. Really big braining it. David Hamilton fouls out. And here's the great dichotomy of the game of baseball. Whose fault is that? Is it the fault of Alex Cora for keeping a bunt sign on with 2 strikes, knowing how risky that is? Or is it the fault of a fucking Major League Baseball player who can't get a bunt down? A guy who literally gets paid in the millions of dollars over his career and gets paid to play baseball as a living, as a full-grown adult in the major leagues that can't get a bunt down. Can't even do that right. Whose fault is it? Of course it's both of their faults. Of course. But it's just another example of an extra innings managerial decision that does not go their way. They never go their way. And it's starting to feel like the Red Sox are almost winning in spite of their manager. That was a disaster class by Alex Cora on Saturday. An absolute disaster. One of his worst games of the season. And yet the Red Sox still almost won it. Which really, really brings me back. Brings me back to a different time in Red Sox history. The way they're winning games in spite of their manager brings me right back to 2017, where the Red Sox just had talent out the ass. They had won the division the year before. They got better in the offseason, and yet they weren't as good. David Ortiz retired, but you got Chris Sale. You got a full year of Andrew Benintendi. Like, there were tangible things that showed this team got better going into 2017, and yet they got worse. They won the division still. They made the postseason. They even won a playoff game, but they bowed out in the first round again. And all summer long, we were talking about how it was winning in spite of John Farrell, a guy who just can't tell his ass from his armpit, and yet they were still winning. And remembering being like, man, this guy's on such borrowed time. He's going to be the first manager ever to be fired after back-to-back division titles. And he was. And the irony in all this, the young, smart manager they brought in to correct that led the next year's team to be the best Red Sox team ever and win the World Series was Alex Cora. Completely changed how they managed in game, and it worked like a charm. But there has to be some writing on the wall here for Cora. Do I think he's a good manager? Yeah. Do I think he's a great manager? A very good manager? I don't know how I can say that at this point. I don't know how we can do that. You know, we drag the GMs through the mud when the teams finish in last place, but we can't do it for the manager. Like, he's got 3 last place finishes on there. He's got a couple of super disappointing seasons in there. You know, his first year was the greatest Red Sox team ever. The next year, they won 35 less games. 35 less games. They won 35 less games in 2019 than they did in his first year in 2018. And there's been 1 positive season since then. I just don't understand these Red Sox fans who will not at all critique the manager. If you saw what happened on this Saturday, which literally becomes the difference in winning and losing a crucial series, and Alex Cora puts out that disaster class, waits for Lucas Giolito to walk in 2 runs before going and getting him out of there, and then seeing this Padres bullpen just shove it down your throat the rest of the game, but then I don't know what we're doing if we can't critique that. That was a poorly managed series from Alex Cora. And you wonder how many more of those are left because the Red Sox are going to be fighting and scratching and clawing here to get in the postseason. They've got 43 games left. And if they go 500 there, they still reach 87 wins. But is 500 enough? I don't think it is. I don't think 87 wins is enough in this race that you've got going right now. The Yankees gained ground on you this weekend. And now you go into Houston, a team that doesn't get swept a lot. You swept them last weekend. You go to Houston, and you need to win the series just to salvage a 500 road trip and still feel good about yourselves going into a weekend series against the Marlins at home. Finally, the schedule is going to let up a little bit with Miami and then Baltimore. But Miami just swept the Yankees, man. Like, you can't go in thinking like that. And right now, I think this Red Sox team is slipping just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not writing them off. But I think this Red Sox team slipped this weekend because of their manager. What do you think about Alex Cora? Do you think he's actually bringing this team down just a little bit? Or am I totally wrong on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're coming at you live every day, live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcast. Check out the segments going out on YouTube every weekday as well, talking Bruins, talking a lot of Red Sox, talking everything going on in the world of Boston sports. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. We need your help to get there. Like, subscribe. It's completely free. And about 90% of you watching on average are not actually subscribed to the channel. So go ahead, do that. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week.